solid Huddersfield with the red flag. And just a final little reminder about the man of the match, that's the Tom Birdie Trophy. That's just by final request, and the winner this afternoon will receive the Tom Birdie Trophy and prize money sponsored by Stones Bitter.
Michael Ford leads Oldham out onto Old Trafford in the change strip, the one that some people say looks better. I think for the first time in the satin shorts, Michael Ford confuses the Bradford supporters by applauding them. This then, the final game of the 89-90 season, the 43rd match of a long, hard year for Oldham, which has seen them clinch promotion, be runners-up in the Lancashire Cup and semi-finalists in the Challenge Cup. But today's game gives Tony Barra's men the chance to put a piece of silverware on the mantelpiece. In the way stand Hull KR, coached by the longest-serving coach in the Rugby League, Roger Millward. Oldham have beaten Hull KR twice this season, 12-4 in October at Watersheddings, with one of Paul Lord's 28 tries this season and 4 goals from Duncan Platt, and then 9-6 at Craven Park on a cold Wednesday night in January, with Oldham's only try coming from Richard Irvine, while Platt weighed in with 2 goals and his only drop goal of the season. Could well be hot down there today. Keith Atkinson on water duty already. OKR come out. Support must have left for the game. It looks like the Bradford supporters have joined them. OKR, of course, second division champions. Well, having won the toss to wear the red. Referee Robin Whitfield. Tumultuous reception for Mr. Whitfield as ever. The teams then: Oldham, number 1 Duncan Platt, number 2 Richard Irving, 3 Tony Barry having gone for the experience of Gary Hyde in place of Des Foy, who was injured, rather than Tommy Martin. 4 John Henderson, 5 Paul Lord, 6 Brett Clark, 7 Michael Ford, 8 Leo Casey, who one would expect to be playing in a scrum cap again with his head problems, 9 Andy Ruane, 10 John Fieldhouse, 11 Paul Round, 12 Charlie Mcallister in his newfound career, and 13 Richard Russell. Subs: 14 Tommy Martin and 15 the ever reliable Keith Newton. Hull KR, number 1 David Lightfoot, 2 Gary Clark, 3 Mike Fletcher, 4 Greg Austin, 5 Tony Sullivan, son of the famous Clive, 6 Wayne Proctor, forced to move out as Mike Smith's injured, so coming in at number 7 David Bishop, 8 Brian Nieblin, who's captain, 9 Chris Rudd, 10 Zook Emma, 11 Des Harrison, 12 Andy Thompson, 13 Paul Lyman, which leaves on the subs bench number 14 Jimmy Irving and number 15 Colin Armstrong. Long talk from referee Whitfield. I'm not sure whether it's to the mascots or the captains or the touch judges. Mike Ford seems to have won the toss, I think. And he's going to stay as he is. So it looks like it's Hull KR to kick off, with Oldham having won the toss. Hull KR feeling they've got something to prove, having lost to Oldham twice in the league. They've only lost 3 in the league, and the other one was to Dewsbury. Oldham having lost to Rochdale, Workington, perhaps most surprisingly, and Swinton. Mike Fletcher gets the game underway. There was doubt about him. He got a gash in his head. Richard Russell Duncan Platt, as we'll see so often, taking the first drive after a changeover. Leo Casey winds up on the dummy run. John Fieldhouse, if he has a game like he had last week against York, anything's possible. Michael Ford hoisting one to Sullivan, who takes, and he's wrapped up by Paul Round. A wide pitch. Kick from Wayne Parker. Clean up by John Fieldhouse. A links to Charlie Mcallister. Mcallister taken down by Nieblin and by Lyman. Quickly to his feet. Richard Russell loses control of that one, so the ball changing hands an awful lot in this first minute. Nieblin into Casey and Ford. Zukema winds up, and he's taken by Fieldhouse, Ruane and Casey on halfway. Parker to Harrison, easily put down by Paul Round. Parker kicking for position, Richard Irving back, leaves it alone. Awkward bouncing ball. Old Trafford, although in good condition, like so many soccer pitches, got a lot less grass on it than rugby pitches. So the first scrum of the game will go down on Oldham head. Handball. In and out to Michael Ford, who commits standoff. Brett Clark. Michael Ford attacked in half-back. Richard Russell rushing to get round him, and he's taken by Thompson. And De Ruane kicking, puts it past Lightfoot. I would have expected to take it. Turns in his own 25. Got Bishop with him. Feeds Bishop. Bishop with room. Away from Mcallister. Away from Russell. Angan gets the ball out. John Henderson in with a timely tackle. On the short side again through Bishop. Bishop struggles to take the ball and goes to ground under Henderson. Niebling. Parker. Parker onto Harrison. Mike Ford. Austin. Out to Sullivan. Sullivan juggles. And finally, it's Duncan Platt low down and Paul Round high up puts him down. Harrison again. Ball out in the tackle to Parker. He's put down by Russell on the edge of a penalty area. Thompson inside to Rudd, and that's fifth tackle. Parker kicks and scores. Gets to his own kick about a foot inside the dead ball line after 3.5 minutes play. OKR in the first serious attacking 6 from either team puts them into a 4-0 lead with a try from standoff Parker. Centre Fletcher. I presume a white mark on his head's connected to this gash he's got somewhere. Assistant coach Jed Dunn coming on. Water bottle and instructions, I would think, for Thompson and Harrison. As Ian Taylor lays the law down to the Oldham team under the post, as Fletcher pushes the ball between to make it into a 6-0 lead.
Kingston Rovers, Mike Fletcher, and Mike joins the elite band now, the players who have played and scored in every match in the season.
Fletcher played every game this season for OKR and scored in every one as well. Eventually there's a realisation the ball's been left behind, and there's no sand at halfway either, which in the modern game will confuse everybody. Charlie Mcallister to restart. Charlie was wanted back in New Zealand to play on the wing for his province. Quoted as saying he'd rather play in the forward, so it'll be interesting to see if he makes the journey. Grubber kick down towards Des Harrison. Takes about 10 yards off his own line into Fieldhouse and Casey. Zook Emma close to the ruck. The same two again. Parker, Niebling straightening and losing the ball. Mike Ford in his bobbing position picks up. Unable to do anything. Brett Clark, John Henderson with his first run. Ford to Leo Casey. Early tackle coming in from Harrison. Casey getting up rather fragilely. Richard Russell loses the ball in the tackle. Referee Whitfield, who's in a perfect position to see, says that's a penalty. Leo Casey, meanwhile, receiving treatment around his knee from John Watkins as Duncan Platt lines up in an attempt to kick his 123rd goal of the season. About 43 yards out from the try line, about 8 yards to the right hand side of the right hand post, left footed, and he pushes it past the left hand post, but sorry, in between. Obviously eyesight not my strong point this afternoon. Oldham will account them after 7 minutes through Duncan Platt to make the score. Oldham 2, OKR 6. Fletcher to restart. So a long way to go in this game. Fletcher. Gary Hyde. Broken wrist only 4 or 5 weeks ago. Finally wrestled down by Thompson. Leo Casey into Niebling. Readjustment in the Oldham back line to find Charlie Mcallister. Mcallister scrabbled down by Fletcher and Parker. And Gary Hyde receiving treatment now. John Enders from acting half-back. Only a yard or two on, that's fifth already. Mike Ford kicks. That perhaps indicates for wing. Everybody's onside. And Paul round. Sullivan gets away. Ball away. A Lightfoot caught by a chasing Richard Irvine. Fine chase from Irvine and by Round. Bishop bouncing across the face. Finally wrapped up. First man with hands on the wrapping up. Paul Lord. John Henderson, Mike Ford join in. Niebling. Oldham going after the ball, or at least trying to pull his arm away. Lyman taken by Casey. Still coming the same way, Parker. Interesting to see if that's judged as a charge down or just hit. Zukema finds a route through somehow. Mike Ford taken down by Duncan Platt, and that's fifth. Referee says it hit, it wasn't charged down. Rudd on last tackle. So that's a handover about 10 yards out from the Oldham line. Andy Ruane in with a very telling tackle. John Fieldhouse on the clean-up. Zukema stepped through remarkably easy round about halfway. Mike Ford looking for a route, finds Paul Round, who loses the ball still in his own 25. Bishop taken by Ruane and Ford. Niebling, Rudd coming round him. I don't think there was ever any intention of putting that one out. Parker up the short side and Round. I think he's ended up knocking that one on under there, unfortunately. Been playing just short of 10 minutes. Scrum down at 12 yards out from the Oldham line on Hull KR head and ball. Coiled springs go down. Ball nearly found the scrum. Penalty against Mike Ford. Presumably for coming round too quick. How you can come round too quick and the ball never really got in, I fail to understand. Bishop puts the ball to touch, 10 yards out from the Oldham try line. Emma winds up with Niebling behind him and Thompson behind him with Lyman stood wide. It's Emma on a lonely drive for the line. Niebling to first man in motion, brings Thompson through and his nose must have paint on it. Lyman, good tackle from Hyde and Russell under the Oldham post. Parker props, goes himself into Mike Ford, who with Charlie Mcallister's help make sure he goes down. Oldham. Rudd from action half-back, I think that's fourth. Slow play of the ball. Loose pass to Lyman. Lyman caught by Round. Ford joins in, but he gets the ball to Emma. Duncan Platt finally falls on it. And Leo Casey attacked in half back to take the first plunge away from the line. John Fieldhouse. Oldham certainly under intense pressure from Hull KR here. Mike Ford to Paul Round. Finds Gary Hyde, but the ball goes to ground. Mike Ford picks up. So it'll undoubtedly end as a scrum down to Hull KR. David Bishop looking for trouble. And then pleads innocence. John Fieldhouse got his boot off, so there'll be a slight pause. Been playing 12 minutes. Hull KR 6, Oldham 2. Sun shining through, probably giving the temperature down on Old Trafford's pitch a great deal. I think referee Whitfield giving David Bishop a lesson on how to put the ball in the scrum. Didn't seem to be any different. Duncan Platt up well. Ball out in the tackle though. Parker finally wrapped up by Charlie Mcallister. Des Harrison to take the ball up. Spins. And then downed well and truly by the Oldham second row partnership. Niebling just caught by one arm by Round. And Mcallister finishes him off. Lyman got Bishop outside him. He's not going to get the ball out of that tackle. Treatment coming on for Hull KR's Des Harrison. Drop goal between the posts and Wayne Parker. Puts after 13 minutes Hull KR into a 7-2 lead. John Fieldhouse looking for water on his head. Charlie Mcallister continuing with the kickoffs, obviously something that's been worked on over the last few days. A casual boot swings. Thompson takes 10 yards out from his own line and manages to get a lot further than he should have. Parker at first man to Emma, who's Mcallister rounded, and for good measure Fieldhouse. Harrison, Brett Clark stops him, but the ball comes away yet again. Lucky pass finds Gary Clark, who's taken by John Henderson, and a retreating Paul Lord. Yet another player loses a boot. This time it's John Henderson. Niebling puts Rudd through, and Parker's in for his second try. Brian Niebling worked the wonders about 35-40 yards out from the Oldham line. Put Chris Rudd through, and he'd got Wayne Parker with him, which gave no chance. So after 14, very nearly 15 minutes play, Hull KR and Wayne Parker score their second try of the game to push Oldham down to 11-2, with a kick dead in front from Fletcher to come. And this task for Oldham's getting harder every minute. Fletcher slots the ball through. 15 minutes gone. Oldham 2, Hull KR 13. Leo Casey forsaken his scrum cap. I think the ball boys were more efficient at Wembley. I'm not saying who was in charge of them that day. Oldham certainly needing to keep plugging away. Mcallister kicks off yet again. Parker takes a sting off it, picks up and feeds Greg Austin, who's taken by Russell and Round. Acting half-back plunge from Rudd, who was a vital link in that second try. Parker to Niebling. That's the major problem, that the ball's still coming out after the first tackler is involved. Emma up the short side. Knocks Gary Hyde off. Onto Tony Sullivan, who's well tackled into touch by Duncan Platt. And the ease with which Hull KR are going through. Duncan Platt obviously got some injury. That's the third time John Watkins has been on to him in quick succession. Penalty to Oldham for foot up by Chris Rudd. Giving, let's see who's going to take the kick. This could be the reason why Duncan Platt's not kicking. Oh, it's loose arming him. That's 2 weeks running. Gary Hyde feeling his shoulder. John Fieldhouse spins. Taken by Nieblin and Emma. Forward with Leo Casey ready to run off him. Into Des Harrison. Gets the ball away one-handed. Richard Russell. Gets back to near the gain line. Leo getting up slowly from that. Ford. It's Hull KR penalised for offside. Putting the umbrella on too early, too quick, too wide. It's Platt, left-footed. Pushes Oldham up to the 25. Or into the 25. And the Oldham fans exhort as Paul Lord launches his slight build. John Fieldhouse of the post. Taken by Nieblin and Rudd. Gets the ball out, but then Andy Ruane knocks on. I think it was shock that caused that knock on. The shock of the ball coming. And Duncan Platt indeed is going off. Second major final this year when he's been forced to leave with injury. So I'd expect Tommy Martin to go to second row. To centre. And Gary Hyde to fullback. It looks a bit like that. David Bishop feeds. And then it follows it through even too quickly for Union, I would have thought. And has a moan at the ref as well. With Duncan Platt off, one presumes his 123 goals he's kicked this season is it. And Oldham get the penalty, 5 yards out on the splinter. Paul Round. Stop, 3 yards short. Ford, Oldham backline stood very deep. Clark, Swanger's direction to Russell. Russell, wrapped up by Rudd and by Emma. Ford. Brett Clark. Referee says that's gone backwards, and I don't think that'll go down well with the Oldham supporters. Clark on his feet. Wayne Parker for Hull KR. Not looking too cheerful either. Bishop feeds. Changes directions 2 or 3 times. Goes crossfield a long way. Gains no yards from the scrum before he's nailed by Brett Clark. On a covering Charlie Mcallister. Gary Clark. Taken well by Fieldhouse. Sue Kemmer. Oldham surely will want to keep Hull KR way down here on these tackles. As Wayne Parker receives treatment. And Brian Nieblin goes through another gap. And Tommy Martin picks up. Comes inside, his first touch, takes Oldham up to within 12 yards of the Hull KR line. Quick play the ball, Richard Irvine in an angle off his touchline. Goes to the post where he's knocked down only yards short. Andy Ruane tries to kid his opposite number, but he's taken. Ford, Clark to Round. Round still going. A yard short as Rudd gets back in front of him. Brett Clark and Paul Lord's in. Paul Lord in for his 29th try of the season. Fine pass from Brett Clark. Give Paul Lord the inch he needs. So after 21 minutes of his first half, Oldham score the first try of the game. To make the score, Oldham 6, Hull KR 13. Kicking duties being taken over. Not surprisingly by Gary Hyde. Hyde, who before today has kicked 28 goals so far in these previous games. Andy Ruane meets treatment at halfway. Ian Taylor implores. And the crowd applaud as Paul Lord gets back to his corner. Gary Hyde, who probably never really believed he'd be here, even if he thought he might be. 10 yards from the touchline, 28 yards out, right-footed. The roar says yes, and so do the touch judges. Oldham come back to within 5 points with 18 minutes to half-time. Oldham 8, Hull KR 13. And the crowd being entertained.
And over the strike converted there by number 3, Gary Hyde.
Thompson, Fletcher to restart, which he does, down towards Tommy Martin, who takes in the in-goal area, quickly feeds Richard Irvine, who just falls in his 25 to both Hull KR second rows. Mike Ford, taken by Parker, quickly onto his feet. John Fieldhouse, who made such tremendous inroads last week against York, just hangs onto the ball in there as Thompson tries to wrestle it from his grasp. Michael Ford looking for a link to Charlie Mcallister, who bounces off Thompson once or twice as he's held up in the tackle by Nieblin and Harrison. Ford, long pass to Round. And that's play on. Paul Lord unable to take that one, so that'll be a scrum down. And Lord not impressed with something from Clark. The Hull KR head and ball, 35 yards out from the Oldham try line. Oldham down by 5 points. The front rows nearly came together. Parker, light foot into the line, taken by Clark and by Hyde. Coming left, Fletcher has to wait. Stands up in the tackle for a long time. Emma pushes Ruane off, but taken by Round. Nieblin back to Rudd. Bishop a quick ball to Austin. Austin taken by Clark and by Ford. Bishop, Des Harrison gets the ball out again to Bishop, who finds Sullivan, who's well policed by Tommy Martin and finished off on fifth tackle by Paul Round. Mike Ford on the charge. I've heard of defensive walls, but that one's amazing. Gary Hyde lets it bounce harmlessly over the dead ball line. So 25 minutes played. Oldham 8, Hull KR 13. As Leo Casey makes the requisite 10 yards from the tap. Ford to Charlie Mcallister, early ball to Tommy Martin. Richard Irvine forced to take it behind him, and therefore unable to get any pace up before Sullivan puts him down. Richard Russell, and that ball's knocked on by Rudd. Whistle seemed to be slow as an Oldham connected person coming. I think even Rudd was stopping before the whistle went. We scrum down Oldham head and ball. About 17-18 yards still in the Oldham half. Gary Hyde on a dummy run. Brett Clark fails to get away from Parker and is finished off by Fletcher. Sun gone in as Mike Ford forced to take it up himself. Brett Clark limps away from that piece of action. John Henderson from acting halfback, taken by Paul Lyman and by Andy Thompson. Russell at first man to Fieldhouse. Paul Round, not really given much option but to hang on to it in that situation. Mcallister, Ford, long pass to Tommy Martin, who gives an early ball to Richard Irvine, who fights his way on fifth tackle over the halfway line. Andy Ruane in position to kick. But Bishop lurking, wrong foot's Tommy Martin, and Leo Casey, who just gets a hand on him, which gives Andy Ruane chance to make sure he stays down for the tackle. Zook Emma into Mcallister and put down by Mcallister. Parker either shorter studs or boots or something as Harrison. Back to Rudd. Thompson, one-handed out. Lightfoot. Neeblin attacked in half-back, feeds Parker. Parker, well shouldered down by Paul Round. Didn't appear to appreciate it too much. This is last tackle. Andy Ruane deals with, having avoided the referee from Greg Austin's kick. Gary Hyde from acting half-back, dummy to Tommy Martin. It's out to one. Inside to Michael Ford. Richard Russell, Emma up very quickly. And Leo Casey not happy with his left leg looking at that. And that was a touch judge decision. From this angle it certainly looked like he'd just lost control of it. Michael Ford to put the ball to touch. Still 9-10 yards in their own half. Oldham looking for another score before half-time. Half-time 11 minutes away still. Brett Clark with a tap, so this is some version of the double run round. And it's Paul Round. I think Wayne Parker might have seen that before. Leo Casey. Back to Charlie Mcallister, who pushes off two. But Brian Neeblin knows, I think, where to tackle him better. Mike Ford back to Andy Ruane. John Fieldhouse trying to get on with it quickly, trying to clear a route. Mcallister lips out a long pass which finally finds Paul Round. Back to Gary Hyde, keeps the ball alive to Richard Irving. Irving goes inside Sullivan and does very well to stay in play. Ford leaves it alone. Ruane picks up to Charlie Mcallister. Mcallister into Neeblin and Parker. And I'm sure Parker really appreciates Charlie Mcallister and Brian Neeblin on top of him on fifth tackle. A loose pass. John Fieldhouse kicks. Paul Lord well onside. And that's unbelievable. He must have been at least 5 yards onside then. Centre certainly well offside. Paul Lord from this angle, a good 5 yards on. The refereeing of kicks is decidedly poor in the whole of the British game. It's almost as though referees don't want to take a chance or aren't prepared to make a decision other than they're offside. Leo Casey coming off. Not looked happy for some 10-15 minutes, Leo. So after 30 minutes play, Keith Newton replaces Leo Casey. So presumably John Fieldhouse will go across for scrum. And Keith Newton will pack down at number 10. Parker to Harrison, into Newton and Round. Parker on the switch. And again, Gary Hyde gets in the right place to stop him. Lyman. Even if it had made the line, I don't think there's any way they got that down between Brett Clark and Keith Newton. Dummy play the ball to Emma, who's put on his back a yard short. That's fifth tackle, referee Whitfield says. Neeblin, Austin going crossfield looking for a gap. Throws out a pass, which from here looked a good yard forward. But it's not to be. So Gary Clark gets in at the corner after 32 minutes play to push.
The transfer of Kingston Rovers, number 2, Gary Clark.
Push Hull KR some 9 points clear, and we've still got over 7 minutes to half time. A lot of walking wounded out there, I think, on both sides. Hull KR's Parker certainly looks on the best for the weather or whatever. Fletcher threatens the penalty spot. Well, that's about all. So we've got 7 minutes to half time. Oldham down by 9 points. And Charlie Mcallister to kick off again. I would expect into the Parker, Harrison sort of area. If anything, in the pass to go by. Chidi does to Des Harrison. Attempts to accelerate out of the 25. He's caught by Ruane. Zukema. Nieblin. Coming up the short side with Emma, who spun round and down by Paul Round. Bishop positions for the kick. And this is making him retreat. Paul Lord kicks on and shows his electrifying turn of pace, but Lightfoot just gets over first. And then he's taken by Michael Ford. Fine opportunist attempt from Paul Lord, but the ball ends up in Hull KR hands. Rudd. Austin with a lot of room to move in. Richard Irving, Tony Sullivan clash. Austin kicks, and Austin's going to be in, or is he? Michael Ford, I think, puts the ball touch and goal. First knock on by Hull KR, so the scrum down to Oldham. Forwards from both sides. Not that quick in getting there. Austin looked odds on a scorer there. Michael Ford, never say die. Well, that's a penalty to Oldham. Hull KR going down with about 5 minutes to half time. Michael Ford, referee Whitfield clearly indicating what he wants, and Michael decides we'll have a bit more distance by giving Charlie the ball. Just a gentle lob to the 25. Ruane with the tap, and Newton with the run. I think if that one had gone in then from Austin, it would indeed have been all over. Change of direction to John Fieldhouse, back to Richard Russell. Michael Ford wants more players to his left. Instead he brings John Anderson inside him. There was no momentum. Ford spots a gap and just can't get a route back to anybody on his left hand side. Andy Ruane for the left hand touchline. Four minutes to half time. Hull KR 17, Oldham 8. If anything, Oldham playing into the win this half. Most of the Oldham pack breaking, then the ball comes out. Parker to Clark. John Henderson hurt him there. Charlie Mcallister pulls off the tackle. Bishop to Lightfoot, who comes back for Charlie to take him as well. Harrison wide, taken low by Russell, but links to Emma, who's wrestled down by Ruane. Rudd going from acting half-back before he gets to Newton on a pursuing Ruane. Well, that's an interesting decision, giving the offside before the ball's played. Nieblin quickly says, "We'll kick at goal, please, sir." So Fletcher steps up. About 37 yards out from the try line. And probably about 15 yards to the left-hand side of the post. Then has a discussion with the referee about something. And he puts that one wide. It'll be a drop out of a 25. I thought Michael Ford was perhaps pushing his luck. I think which is what Robin Whitfield's perhaps saying to him as well. About 2 minutes to go to half time plus stoppage. Charlie Mcallister. The wind, what there is certainly not high up. Grubber kicks over halfway. Tony Sullivan down on one knee, picks up. Goes crossfield. Where he's taken by a waiting Richard Russell. Bishop. Let's play on. Knocked down by Brett Clark. And Bishop was playing for a penalty there, which referee Whitfield wasn't interested in. Mcallister winds up a long pass into no man's land. And that's put Paul Lyman in under the post. And that, with half-time beckoning, could well be a killer blow for Oldham. Lyman in under the post, putting him into a 21 points to 8 lead. A kick to come from Fletcher will put Oldham 15 points down at half-time. Amazing number of points being scored between the two teams. They've now scored 31 points as Hull KR go into a 21-8 lead. There was only 31 points scored in the two league encounters between the teams. So the wide open spaces of Old Trafford seem to be suiting Hull KR more. Charlie Mcallister kicks off again. Taken by Parker in the dead ball area. 40 minutes up on my watch. Parker taken just outside the 25 by Russell. Emma into Ruane. Martin. Nieblin. Was that a fine first half for Hull KR? There's Harrison on the straight ball. Mcallister, Newton, Fieldhouse. But he still stands up in the tackle. Parker to Austin, who kicks and finds touch about 8 yards out from the Oldham try line. A long road back for Oldham. As the scrums go down, Mike Ford scuttles away and he's tackled by Parker and Lightfoot. Pull round. And there's the hooter. A half-time score which doesn't make pleasant reading for Oldham. Oldham 8, Hull KR 23. Four tries. The last one off an inexplicable pass from Charlie Mcallister into no man's land, swept on by Paul Lyman. Oldham's only try. A fine effort from Paul Lord. So half time, Oldham 8, Hull KR 23. A long way back. Oldham come out for the last 40 minutes of rugby league for season 89-90 with a 15-point deficit. 40 minutes to try and get something in the trophy cabinet, or for Oldham, apart from Oldham Celtic's basketball team. It's going to be a season of what nearly was. Bishop limping on the field, as the LKR video man's just said. Don't know if he's putting it on or what. To Lyman on the try line. Taken by Russell and by Round. Oldham wanting the ball, will want the ball early and score early as well. They're trying the first 6 tackles in possession would be good. Bishop pumping the ball downfield. And runs off the firm's ground around the centre area. You can't really call it grass. Pushes Oldham back into the 25. Michael Ford to feed the scrum, and already Oldham got a long way to take the ball back to try and establish. And let's play on. John Fieldhouse failing to keep the ball in, however hard he tried. Harrison into Newton, but still gets the ball away one-handed to Parker. Out and again in the tackle to Lightfoot. Round. Ruane giving him no chance to get that one. Parker with a lot of players outside him. And disaster after only a minute of the second half as Des Harrison, with a massive overlap outside him, strides in to continue this one-way traffic. It's 27-8, and these could be a long, hard 40 minutes. David Bishop spoke to about coming off, I think, but replied he was okay. It certainly looks to be in some pain. The worrying thing about that last one wasn't so much Harrison scoring it, but he must have had a 4 if not a 5-man overlap outside him. Fletcher puts the icing on the cake, so it's 29-8. And we've still got 38 minutes to play. Mike Ford to kick off this time. Down towards Gary Clark, who tries to play football and obviously isn't very good at that. John Fieldhouse implores the team to make advantage of that. The scrum will go down on OKR feed. Brett Clark furiously trying to get his backs up flat. Nearly found the scrum out of a loose forward with that, who's taken by Richard Russell and Brett Clark. Andy Thompson. David Bishop putting the ball downfield again. Pushing Oldham 10, 12 yards into their own half. At least this time it's Oldham to feed the scrum. And down goes the scrum, in and out goes the ball. Clark passing line to John Henderson, who's wrapped up by Fletcher, and Parker arrives along with Lightfoot. Clark, Ford, Charlie Mcallister, well tackled by hooker Chris Rudd. Dummy from Andy Ruane, makes a few more yards upfield but still in the wrong half of things. Ball round up the short side. Bounces off Emma. And finally put down by the whole of the Hull KR front row. Richard Russell. Wayne Parker looked to be up so quickly then. Mike Ford from acting half-back. And in fact, although the kick finds a good touch, it's already a penalty to Oldham. The Hull KR not being back 5 yards. Penalty just in the Oldham half of things. Clearly indicated by referee Robin Whitfield. Gary Hyde to put the ball to touch on the far side, which he does about 12 yards into the Hull KR half. Ball boy's now gone over efficient. Richard Irvine into Nieblin and Emma. Keith Newton to Ford, to Clark, to John Henderson, who goes past Fletcher, but Parker takes him. Brett Clark wants to come up the short side, which he does through Russell, just into the 25. Clark again. Ford winds up, pull round backwards, and Keith Newton in loose ground. I think surprised to get through there was Newton. Referee says it came off his boot. Michael Ford dummies, and Mike Ford's in for a try. Only his 9th try of the season. But while tries have been scored, belief is still there that this is comebacks possible. 6 minutes gone. Oldham reduced the arrears to 17 points, and Gary Hyde receives the sand from that well-known kicker, Keith Atkinson. Oh, bad eyesight. That certainly isn't Keith, it's Sean Allen. Andy Ruane receiving treatment again to a shoulder. That's the second time in only the 6 minutes this scarf's been underway. Hyde, right-footed. Kicks his second goal of the game, his 30th of the season. Oldham 15 points down and 33 minutes to play. Hopefully to make something out of these next 6 tackles, if only a good position. Fletcher kicks off. Mike Ford flicks it off his boot. Dummies to John Henderson, and he's taken just on the 25 by Paul Lyman. Ruane sets off from acting halfback into Parker, knocked down by Nieblin. Ford waits. Clark to Newton, who can't escape Des Harrison's clutches. Pushed off the ball, but still plays it. Brett Clark. Mike Ford kicks, and Paul Round leads the chase, but David Lightfoot will get there first. Links to Bishop. Bishop caught by Martin. Tommy Martin left on the floor. Nieblin taken by Ruane and Mcallister. Thompson steps through Clark, but a covering Mcallister. Make sure he goes down. Nieblin on the floor, I think putting a boot on. Okay, Tommy Martin back on his feet. Parker, Lyman, out to Austin. One-handed out to Gary Clark, who's Tackled well by Brett Clark and slides a foot into touch even before Gary Hyde arrives. So it'll be a scrum down Oldham head and ball. Niebling still short a boot. Oldham still wanting 16 points for the lead. Referee Whitfield stops the clock as Brian Niebling gets his boot on, or tries to get his boot on. Fletcher got something wrong with a hand by the look of things, of a treatment coming on for him. I always thought tape was a good idea on bootlaces to stop boots coming off. Both sides suffering from it, Oldham have the wrong half of things. Fletcher has a hand or a wrist or a thumb or something strapped. As we wait, Niebling gets help to put the boot back on. The scrum goes down. Richard Russell picks up dummies to Mike Ford, and David Bishop competitiveness. Michael Ford's kick swings away from the touchline, and Lightfoot takes it away from Paul Lord, but into Andy Ruane and Charlie Mcallister. Niebling, well tackle centre field by Russell and round. Lyman, slowed down by Mcallister and finished off by Russell. Bishop kicks, and Gary Hyde forced to kick over the ball line. Means Hull KR will get the ball back. What win there is in Oldham's favour. It is according to the flag on the opposite stand. Michael Ford taking the drop out. High but not that far. Bishop, Lyman, Bishop takes, feeds Parker. Lightfoot coming with him, but he takes the tackle from Ruane and Newton. There's Harrison. Niebling, Rudd coming round. Lyman unable to hold that, Gary Hyde. Not attempting to pick up, preferring I think the scrum and the extra 20 yards that gives. "12 minutes of his second half gone, Oldham down 14-29. Most of the Hull KR pack breaks as Gary Hyde Ford to Fieldhouse. Well taken by Niebling. Mcallister attacked in half back. Ford. Bobbs weaves. Taken by Lyman. Russell. Park up quickly again in the centre. Pull round. Ruane. Ford to Mcallister, who pops one up for Paul Lord. But Niebling covers and puts him in touch. From this angle, a touch of a forward passes possibly as well. And the flick from Charlie Mcallister. And one against the head. Now that's a rarity. Brett Clark. Taken well by Lightfoot, and receives treatment from Fletcher, which doesn't seem at all necessary. Russell props, bounces through. John Henderson fighting to get with him. Clark, Ford, inside to Fieldhouse. Picked up by Ruane. Henderson attempts to run Niebling. Just short of a 25, Ruane. Clark at first man, inside to John Fieldhouse. Mike Ford. Hoyce. And Lightfoot takes. And he in turns tackled by Richard Irvine. Emma. This is where Oldham want to be. They could do with the ball in this area as well. Nieblin. Emma stutters, attempts to wind up. Keith Newton looks for his head. Bishop to charge down by Michael Ford, and he's just unable to take the ball himself, but that obviously is wiped as a genuine charge down. Bishop from acting halfback. And Keith Newton. Parker attempts to come inside Ruane. There's Harrison. Yet again gets the ball away, this time to Parker. Parker looks. Sullivan's far too far away, so he goes forward as far as he can and takes the tackle. Oldham being gradually pushed back. Lightfoot. Austin attempts to kick past Charlie Mcallister. It's a long way around, Charlie. John Henderson. Put down strongly by Thompson. Mike Ford spots something short side and comes back onto John Fieldhouse. To John Henderson, and Henderson just ankle tapped and gets there. Looked like John Henderson was going to stride in, but an ankle tap. No hands on him, he rolled, and just as hands arrived, he hit the try line. Fine break for Michael Ford, handed on to John Fieldhouse. Fieldhouse taking the right option, and Oldham slowly coming back. 16 minutes gone. Oldham 18, OKR 29. And Gary Hyde. In fact, John Watkins delivering water for referee Robin Whitfield, which perhaps shows how hot it is down there. Gary Hyde. And he's pulled it past the left-hand post. So Oldham still 11 points down, with about 23 minutes left to play. One gets the feeling anything could happen here. John Henderson's 17th try of the season. And suddenly the roars of Oldham are going up, and the Yorkshire chants of the combined Ulster and Bradford supporters goes quiet. Paul Lord waits, takes. Mike Ford says, give it me if you want. He didn't want, so Michael stops. John Fieldhouse attacked in halfback, points in all directions, but then takes it himself and taken by Nieblin and Rudd. Mike Ford dummies one, then gives Keith Newton a ball down the centre. Obstruction on Tommy Martin off the ball. Keith Newton though makes good yardage. Along Oldham suddenly doing what they weren't in the first half. Ball round away from Nieblin onto Ruane. In fact, Charlie Mcallister one-handed out, picked up by Tommy Martin. Richard Irvine, and that's fifth tackle with Richard Irvine brought down 15 yards short. Fieldhouse, Michael Ford, hoist for Tommy Martin. Everybody's onside, and the referee doesn't give a try. OKR players left on the ground. It's indeed a tap 25 to OKR. Getting on with it with the second ball. Well, there's one already on the field. Emma into Ruane and Mcallister. Nieblin to settle things down. And Ruane continues tackling. Harrison, who's been so effective at getting the ball out in the tackle, but not this time. Taken by Russell, Ruane. Parker kicking for position. Paul Lord eventually decides to leave it alone. It's a scrum down. Oldham to feed. Hull KR. It's David Bishop damaged in that kick through for Michael Ford, left on his knees in the dead ball area. Loose pass. Brett Clark picks up. Well tackled by Lightfoot. In fact, Bishop doesn't look too happy a case. Gary Hyde. Lot of red and white. Uses his experience to get out the 25. Ford, Bishop staying on though. Well taken by Fieldhouse. And well on to as Harrison arrives in his back as well. Pull round into Emma, spins away from Emma. Links back to Richard Russell, Mike Ford, Charlie Mcallister. Still going. Finally put down by Nieblin. Oldham playing Andy Ruane up the short side. Hit, bounces it off a Hull KR player. Spotted by both officials, so it'll be a scrum down. Oldham head and ball. Halfway through the half. Oldham 18, Hull KR 29. And indeed, Oldham, Hull KR taking off David Bishop. Bringing on Jimmy Irvins. So presumably Parker will go to scrum half, where he's apparently been playing excellently. And Irvin to stand off. Gary Hyde. Back to Michael Ford. Brett Clark with room to move in. Comes inside Lyman. Away from Fletcher. Back to Tommy Martin. And Martin out to Irvin. And Irvin's in at the corner. And one gets the feeling Hull KR have gone. "21 minutes gone this second half. Richard Irvin in for his 17th try of the season. Pushes the score to Oldham 22, Hull KR 29. There's a big discussion as who's going to kick the goal. Tommy Martin, I think, was the message from the bench says give young Thomas the ball. And over to our left, it's gone very quiet as the rest of the ground. And down below us to our right, set up by a fine run from Brett Clark. Hull speed of coming up too fast, caught him out there, giving Clark the room to move. Tommy Martin could perhaps have made the try line himself, but made sure and put Richard Irvin in. Left-footed. It either just does or just doesn't, and just doesn't. The fine effort from Tommy Martin. Oldham 7 points down. 17 minutes left to play. Must be nice to be a neutral watching this. And certainly Hull KR looking rather bemused. There's been 21 points in front. The gap now narrowed to 7. Fletcher kicks off. Mike Ford bounces it off his body and brings John Henderson in early. Henderson into Thompson and Nieblin. Brett Clark still on his way back. Mike Ford to Charlie Mcallister, who gets away from Austin twice. Dummies. Then feeds on to Michael Ford. Ford goes back for the outside. Over the 20 to the 25. Newton, Ruane. John Fieldhouse back to Keith Newton to Ruane. Richard Russell will settle it down. Finally pulled down by Nieblin about 12 yards out. Struggles to get to his feet. Clark. Henderson accelerates into Zukema. I'm sure that's fourth tackle. The boys on the right want the ball. John Fieldhouse coming up on the blind side. Paul round to try and batter and spin his way over. Fifth tackle, 2 yards short. Quickly plays it. Andy Owain cross kicks. And both sides have knocked on. So that'll be a scrum down Oldham head and ball. And that was a well-used 6 tackles. One like that. And that, I'm sure, is a bad mistake. It was pretty obvious it was knocked on first by LKR and it wasn't a rising ball. And that's what games turn on, is bad decisions. Ball comes out though, Michael Ford picks up. And that's 2 against the head. Andy Ruane into Harrison. And Rudd, Michael Ford organising, tell it Paul round where he wants him. Ford, and here comes round. John Fieldhouse to acting half-back, 9 yards out. Ford dummies. And gets to within 5 yards. Ruane, Clark, away from 1. And that's 5th tackle as he's taken down by Emma. Twice. And Ruane's in! Ruane with a half dummy makes the line, and that's all that matters. 26 minutes of this half over. And Oldham come to within 3 points. With Andy Ruane's 8th try of the season. A fine 6 tackles played out, and then a heel against the head by somebody. And then on 6th tackle, Andy Ruane hit the line. And I think the witness flags are flying in Oldham's favour as well now. I'd love to have a microphone behind those LKR posts. Gary Hyde lines up a kick 11 yards in from touch. Right footed, likely to swing the ball across the face. Which unfortunately he does. So we've got about 13 minutes left to play. Oldham 3 points down. Slowly but slowly they're hauling this LKR team in. Already we've had 55 points. And succeedingly LKR come slower and slower to the restart. They're going to try something different this time. Put it down to Richard Irving. Tommy Martin goes across in front, feeds Irving. And he gets out of a 25. LKR hardly have the ball in the last 15 minutes. Richard Russell to John Fieldhouse. Irving tackles him. Tries to play the ball. Russell props inside. Wrapped up by Irving and hangs on. Mike Ford to Charlie Mcallister. Mcallister on to Richard Irving. And Irving uprooted, still 5 yards in his own half. Ford waits. Winds up a long pass to Newton, who falls to Emma and to Nieblin. Ruane for the left-hand touchline. And it will run. And having taken 2 against the head, no doubt he believes he can take a 3rd. The atmosphere truly electric. Many people, better judges than I, said this was going to be the better game than the First Division Premiership. And having seen what we've seen in the last 68 minutes, that seems believable. Parker dummies, pursued by Russell. And OKR have the ball. Paul Lord covering up fullback as Irving sets off to Lightfoot. Hyde on his way back to fullback. Lord on his way back to his wing. Emma on his way to ground on the end of a tackle from Andy Ruane. Thompson. Parker to Irving to Lightfoot, and Richard Russell comes out with the ball. Michael Ford making a lot of yardage, and White's clean as well. Okay, our fullback Lightfoot on the ground. Ruane into Irving. Fieldhouse. Michael Ford, long pass. Well picked up by Paul Round. Round running at Sullivan, brings Irving inside him. Irving over the 25. Still going before he's put to ground by Nieblin inevitably. Ford scuttles away from acting halfback. Chips for the corner. And I think it was going to be too long anyway, but OKR taking no chances. OKR boot the ball away. Drop out to Oldham. And OKR go back to 13. Drop out at Stolls before the halfway line. Gary Hyde gets a beautiful bounce. And he's wrapped up by Nieblin. John Fieldhouse, dummies, and he's taken by Rudd and by Lyman. Oldham still 3 points down as Paul Round. Charlie Mcallister lurking at left centre. The ball comes out very deep. Brett Clark puts Keith Newton out. Ball back to Brett Clark. Superb pass to John Henderson. Paul Lord. Lord stays in play and back to Henderson. And Henderson stopped a foot short with a tackle from Jimmy Irving. Paul Lord from acting halfback. Spotted a gap, only one boot on but just failed. This is fifth tackle. Mike Ford, Charlie Mcallister, Gary Hyde, Tommy Martin waits. This is last tackle and Tommy Martin's in! And Oldham are in front. 8 minutes left to play, and yet again a try on last tackle. Paul Lord left putting his boots on. Oldham celebrate. And Tommy Martin justifies the faith in him. Tony Barra wants to talk with at least Michael Ford as Oldham go in front for the first time in the match with just 7 minutes left to play. And that's Oldham's sixth try of the game. Gary Hyde lines up. Unbelievable. And Mike Ford is saying, nothing stupid, we cling, we hang on to this ball for 5 and then we kick the thing as far as we can. Gary Hyde, right footed, and yet again slots it across the front. What would it have been? OKR take off Des Harrison. And bring on Colin Armstrong. David Bishop already back on in place of fullback David Lightfoot. And Oldham have a tenuous 1 point lead with about 6 minutes left to play. Fletcher kicks off again. And Tommy Martin takes and feeds Richard Irving straight away. Irving ducks under a flailing arm from Nieblin and nearly makes a 25. Ford to Fieldhouse coming. Oh, it should have been, one would have thought, but Ford goes himself. Russell. Oldham more interested in just taking these 6 tackles, or 5 of them, and doing nothing silly. Brett Clark to Paul Round. Round. And he comes back. And he's held up in the tackle. And it looked like he was breaking clear. Ruane kicking for the left-hand touchline, and he finds it. And pushes Oldham back up into the 25 again. And suddenly the clock seems to have slowed down. Still 5 minutes to play. Bishop back feeding the scrum. And down it goes. And round it goes. And Mike Bishop pauses and waits. And Russell comes out and tackles him. Mike Ford sets off from second marker and wraps up winger Gary Clark. Parker up the short side on his own. And Paul Round rips the ball out. I don't think he even believed himself he'd got it then. John Fieldhouse coming up the short side. Andy Ruane pirouettes. And one gets the feeling as much as anything Oldham are trying to kill time. John Fieldhouse from acting half-back. Dumped on the edge of the penalty area, which is still showing. Russell from acting half-back. It's certainly simple rugby, but you're less likely to make mistakes with it. Ruane. John Fieldhouse. Grubber kicks. David Bishop gets away. Fieldhouse must have thought he was in with a tremendous chance then. Parker to Armstrong, the freshest legs on the field. But he won't be if he keeps ending up under Charlie though. Still 4 minutes to go as the Oldham whistles ring round. Nieblin. Taken by Clark and by Newton. Emma. Fine tackle from Andy Ruane yet again. Irving sets off from acting half-back. And that's 5th tackle. Kick from Rudd. Aimless downfield. And Paul Lord takes. And there's a discussion who he should go with him. But does anybody need to go with him? Parker takes him on halfway. John Henderson to go from acting half-back. Only a yard or two. It's an interesting facet coming to John's play in the last few weeks. About 3 minutes to play. Ruane up the short side again. Reaching out to take every possible inch on every tackle. Ford to Mcallister. Wrapped up by Nieblin and by Thompson. Brett Clark accelerates, bobs, weaves. Lyman wraps him up. But he takes a long time to fall if he does indeed. And finally on 5th tackle, Mike Ford to kick for somewhere. Sullivan takes, and he's caught by Martin. But suddenly the whole KR eyes are on again. Fletcher breaks. And finally he's scrabbled to ground on halfway. Ball going out left to Irving. Irving on his own. Wrapped up by Mcallister. Parker. Back to Rudd. Rudd under Newton. Less than 2 minutes to play. Paul Round still on the floor, perhaps making sure he's not done for offside. Irving. Irving to Lyman. Lyman steps inside Martin. Ball still alive. And he's lost that in there. And Paul Round comes out with the ball. Charlie Mcallister lies hurt. Struggles to his feet. We're inside the last minute on my watch. And this is really going to be the genuine. 5 drives and a kick. Nieblin's down, perhaps in desperation. The sun taking its energy of everybody. Gary Hyde takes some strain off his forwards. Takes a long time to go down. And that's as important as anything. Ruane to Irving. Irving. Finally put down by Nieblin and Thompson. John Fieldhouse. to John Henderson. And suddenly Armstrong trying to keep the ball alive to Parker. Parker for the line, he's knocked down. Rudd to Irving. Bishop to Rudd. 40 minutes up on my watch. Irving from acting halfback. Back to Bishop. Bishop winds up a long pass. And Martin takes it. There was a suspicion of a Oldham hand on it before it got to Martin. But nothing from the officials. Richard Russell. And surely now Oldham are home by this tenuous 1 point lead. Andy Ruane boots for the left hand touchline again. It doesn't run, but it's a long way back. Paul Lord takes Fletcher. Gets the ball away. Gary Clark. Wrapped up by Richard Russell. 41 minutes up on my watch. Parker coming back to the short side. And there's a hooter. Oldham have won. What must surely be the greatest comeback in a cup game of any description. Back after 6 minutes of the first half. 1 minute of the first half. 29 points to 8 down. To come back to win 30 points to 29. Scoring 5 tries and only 1 goal without reply in this incredible second half. As Oldham triumph by 30 points to 29. And Tommy Martin, the young precocious star of the future, scored the winner with just 8 minutes left, and then hearts were in mouths. Hull KR, I think, just don't believe what's happened, and I'm inclined to agree with them. Oldham coming back with 22 points without reply, and the celebrating could go on and on and on. Finally this season a piece of silverware in the trophy cabinet. Premiership second division winners for the second time in 3 years. And Paul Round, who's come back so well in these last few weeks, goes to really to congratulate Michael Ford, Tony Barra and his backroom staff. Injured players, Des Foy, Sean Allen on the field who missed the game. Leo Casey.
He receives the Tom Bergen Trophy and prize money sponsored by Sales Bitter.
Oldham, Mike Ford, man of the match. Mike Ford, which one can't really doubt. Perhaps so often this season he could have had the man of the match time after time. But Oldham come up below us through the netting to be presented with a trophy. A trophy which at half time many must have thought had gone. There's still Oldham players on the pitch celebrating as Mike Ford raises the trophy. And the rest of the team, Gary Hyde, Paul Lord, Duncan Platt forced to go off injured again so early. Richard Irving, whose try was vital. Keith Newton on in place of the man behind him, Leo Casey. John Henderson. Tommy Martin, only 18, so much promise still to go. John Fieldhouse, the other end of the spectrum rugby league wise, but just as joyous. We'll end up leaving that cup there. Tommy Martin, Richard Russell, the buy of the season, and so many positions played. The change in the area, Charlie Mcallister, Paul Round, the second row of the last few weeks, Brett Clark, and finally Andy Ruane. And he does remember to take the trophy with him Red and white favours on the trophy. An easy decision, really, for the man who does it, with both teams being their true colours. Oldham gather as Hull KR, who certainly played an important part in this game. 29 points to 8 in front, 1 minute into the second half. And gradually from there, Oldham hauled them in. And hauled them in to such an extent that they went in front with 8 minutes to play and then hung on. Oldham celebrate. Hull Kingston Rovers look bemused, as they have done since about halfway through this second half, and walk sadly away up the tunnel. But Oldham bring the silverware back to Watersheddings. And one presumes they're going on a lap of honour. Mike Ford, with his man of the match award in his hands, lifted very easily up by Charlie Mcallister. And John Fieldhouse gets the mascot onto his shoulders as Oldham getting a well-deserved victory, hanging in when all looked lost. And finally, and officials trying to get them off the pitch. David Howe's leading the way, because there's a ladies rugby league match between Yorkshire and Lancashire being refed by Oldham's very own Alison Smith, as Oldham continue celebrating. And the First Division Premiership final has certainly got something to live up to after that one. The Oldham roar goes on around the ground, the celebrating goes on. The open top ride back on the bus suddenly looks worthwhile again. While the Oldham celebrating goes on, Oldham ladies referee Alison Smith takes centre stage, and having seen her watch open age men's games, she won't worry about that. The roar, whether anybody's really watching what's going to take place, is another matter, as Oldham take one of the slowest laps of honour in a long time. Oldham being applauded by the supporters on returning it with interest, but keeping well off the pitch. Where the trophy is, back in Richard Russell's hands. Russell, who this season played so many different positions. Mike Ford, that's been hurried on his way. Incredible second half. Oldham 23-8 down at half time. Give away another try virtually within a minute to Des Harrison. 29-8, and that really was the last part in the game in an attacking force that Hull KR took. As Oldham replies with tried by man of the match Mike Ford, John Henderson, Richard Irvine, Andy Ruane, and finally the one that put Oldham in front for a winning lead from 18-year-old substitute Tommy Martin, playing at right centre. Being applauded by Hull KR supporters as they walk past the Stretford end. here at Old Trafford. The roar as Yorkshire score a try in this ladies' match. Interestingly, Tony Barra not walking round with his team. In fact, I can't see where Tony Barra is. Roger Halstead waits at the bottom of the tunnel for some quote. And Oldham complete the lap of honour. And everything the celebrating goes on. John Fieldhouse, Gary Hyde down below us. The senior citizens. Brett Clark and the older Oldham players shake hands with Robin Whitfield as they go off. Jimmy Knox and Alec Givens stand talking at the bottom of the tunnel. Alec Givens, so long associated with watersheddings. He almost looks to be smiling. And finally, the trophy appears. Mike Ford, still with his man of the match trophy clutched. Charlie Mcallister with his outside shorts and widest white stripe in the business. And a photograph, or yet another photograph, as Jack Roscoe tries or manages to prize the trophy from Andy Ruane's hand, but not for long. The end of a momentous game. And Oldham, the trophy to Jimmy Knox as Andy Ruane disappears up the tunnel, and Jack Roscoe, Alan Bonnell and Jimmy Knox read the trophy. Alan Bonnell, who I believe this is his last game in close involvement with Oldham, can have gone out on a better note, and hopefully none of the injuries are too serious.
Hi Paul. Great stuff. Right, nice to see you lads anyway. See you lads.
For a night's sleep. The boys are
Take my glasses, boys.
Hey, get the wind blowing hurt.
Did you enjoy today, Charlie? Did you enjoy today's game?
When you start pointing, I enjoyed the second half. A bit of a nightmare in the first half.
How does it compare to your golf win at Worneth the other week?
Oh, hey, we're getting a bit personal now, aren't we? No worries, mate. Thanks, Paul. Have you cut that, mate?
This could be.
Still running.
Fieldhouse trying to fall off the side of the bus. What are your feelings about the first half today, John?
Well, very upset at our time, to tell the truth. But there was a few harsh words to be said, and the lads decided to pull the socks up and do the job. So we're all right. Everything went okay at the end. Thanks for fucking.
To Australia, Brett. Nice sunny weather.
It's raining in Australia, so I don't really care. I'm too pissed to know anything else.
And will be more so before the day's over.
I think so, yes. I think, why not? I think we deserve it.
I agree. You can't do cartwheels. How do you feel when you scored that last try?
I can't say anything. I'm not saying it.
Obviously camera shy. How does it feel, John, to be back with a winning side and in charge, as it were?
Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? It's only the start, though, this, isn't it? We'll go on from strength to strength now, and we'll win something serious. one of the major competitions. Marvellous.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
There's some shots on here.
The top of the open tech bus that's nearly swimming in Boddington's and 4 rounds water pistol. We've got Tony Barrow with us, the highly successful Houdini of Oldham. What would you like to say, Tony?
What can I say? I mean, this was I think it must have been the best without a shut up. It must have been the best escape ever without
If this still's working.
I think the mic's gone. It's all gone wonky now. But I'm on the Paul Daniels show next week. You know, doing it, so we're all right.
And you'll probably win on that as well, Tony.
Well, the main thing is, Fred, we've got to think about the second division now, the first division now, and make sure that we're coming back on the same route next year, but with the first division championship in.
And if that's managed, it'll be more than Houdini, won't it? You will be player of the year, coach of the year next year, not runner-up.
Well, we tried hard this year, but the thing is, I mean, I won the first division premiership in, what was it, 86, I think it was, and second division this time. I mean to win it again. One way or another, we're going to get something next year. I hope so, anyway.
And I'm sure all Oldham supporters agree with you totally. Yeah.
Richard, recognise everybody? Yeah. My sister.
Video job this.
One eye on road and one eye on Rugby.
Come on, Oldham! 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 That's fucking also
He opened the can it blew me in his face.
Oldham getting off a coach. We'll just grab a quick word with man of the match Michael Ford. who'll be so close to the camera he'll be out of focus. Congratulations, Michael, on your Man of the Match award.
Thank you very much. I thought first half, obviously all our players were in running for it, but the way we played second half, it had to go to an Oldham player.
And who better than you?
Well, no one probably. No, but it's a great way to finish the season. 1 point, 29 points to 8, 29 points to 8 down, and the way we came back is probably the greatest comeback in the history of Rugby League.
I'd agree with you totally. Thanks very much, Michael. You better go and join everybody else out there.
Thank you very much.
This magnificent reception outside the Queen Elizabeth Hall.
At Old Trafford this afternoon, and of course tonight as well. It's time now for you just to be quiet for a few minutes. There are a couple of people I need to introduce to you, and you want to hear what they've got to say. Now, you've shown already today that Oldham people are the most loyal people in the world. You stuck with your team when it looked as though they were never going to win, and they did. Now then, I want you now to stick with your town, and please give the very warmest of welcomes, and then pray quiet for your Mayor, Councillor Mrs. Elsie Shaw. Come on.
Mrs. Elsie Shaw, Mayor, getting the booing reception that goes back some months when she said she knew where Latics was, but didn't know where Watersheddings was. Now going to say a few words.
Now you know why. Now you know why, Lord Mayor. Why these lads can't afford to play badly, because that's what they get when they do, you see. Come on, give order, please, for your Mayor. Thank you very much. Come on, Elsie.
Well, hello, everybody. It's lovely to see so many of you here this evening. Didn't our lads do well? Cheers. You must all be very proud of them, as I am. Cheers. Now I know you don't want to be kept waiting much longer. This is Oldham's Rugby's moment, and I want you all to enjoy it. You deserve it for being so patient, waiting for them all this while. Thank you all very much for turning out this evening and showing such great support for our boys. You've been marvellous, and I only hope your support for Oldham Rugby will be rewarded with even much bigger things next year. It now gives me great pleasure to call on the team coach, your own Tony Barrow, to say a few words.
This is a moment Tony Barrow's been dreading.
God bless.
He just said on the bus coming up that if there's anything he didn't want to do was make a speech. So he's done a runner.
That Tony Barrow, when it comes to talking, is extremely shy and withdrawn. And that's why when called upon to speak to you now, he's disappeared into the back for a moment or two. But I'm pretty certain that he'll be with you any moment. I've had the good fortune.
They found Tony Barrow again, so presumably he found the toilets.
I've had the good fortune to interview him from time to time. It's one question and he's away. Your coach, Tony Barrow!
Tony Barrow, the man who said he would bring trophies to Oldham, and he started doing just that.
You know, the team can never ever do without the greatest supporters in the world. You, to me, are the greatest supporters in the world. This is only the start, believe me. I don't intend to come here with second division trophies anymore, because I ain't going to be in any more second divisions. We're going for the big ones now, kids, there's no danger. We're going for the first division title. I've got one, I've been there once, I'm coming again, but this time it's going to be with Oldham. There's no doubt about it, these boys, after a serious talking to at half time, they've done the business. I've had 2 cardiac arrests, but to be honest and truthful, at the end of the day, the boys done the business. I'd like to thank the Mayoress. Hang on a minute. The Mayoress is going to talk to the council and really get onto them and make them give us a few bob so that we can make our stadium the best.
And said in public, it makes interesting listening.
See, the boys are with it. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do the usual thing that I do at the club usually. Now you people haven't seen it, but anyway, I'll introduce every one of my players. Number 1, Duncan Platt.
Oh, Duncan, show yourself.
Tony Barra going to introduce everybody.
A little bit of concussion, but he's all right now.
We could run out of batteries here, anything's possible.
Number 2, we have the Black Flash, Richard Irvin. And number 3, Mr. Reliable himself, Gary Hyde. By the way, I'd like to tell you this lad played half the game with a broken wrist. Where's that for then? At number 4, we have the biggest problem I've got in this team. His medical problems are so bad, he's always ill. And I worry when he's fit. He was ill today and so was happy. John Anderson! At number 5, we have the one and only Flash, Lonnie!
Paul Ward, who thought during the game, when there was chance of Yorkshire going up, it was especially for him.
We have the Australian pain in the arse, Brad Clark! Hey, now I've got to say a little bit of something about this guy, haven't I? We've got to say something about him because every time he's turned out this season, he's proved to be the magician of this team. He was our captain today, absolutely brilliant, man of the match, Mick Ford! At number 8, we had a lad who was so lucky he got taken off because he had a serious dead leg injury. But I'll tell you what, if he'd have stayed on, he could have given the business. Leo Casey! At number 9, we have the quiet man of the party. The man who you can't surprise the cup out of his hands with a spanner, Andy Dwayne! At number 10, we have Ginger Locks. He's a lovely lad, really, you know, I'll tell you. He's a bloke who I believe in, he believes in me, John Fieldhouse! At number 11, now what can I say? I'll just say this, you can have a look at his socks when he comes up. I'll tell you what, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I'll tell you what, when he comes up he will show it in his socks, and what a great game. I think he pushed back for the man of the match, Paul Round!
Paul Round's luminous socks.
There's only a million of them. And then we come to the people that you love. You love him because he's entertaining. Hang on. Charlie Mcallister!
A quiet man of the team. Charlie Mcallister, so popular with the rest of the team. Obviously colourblind with those trousers.
Then we come to the bloke who's played every single position in this team, barring prop and wing. I bought him for I tell you what, it cost me a fortune. 3,000 quid. One of the best buys, hang on, the best buy I've made this season, Richard Russell. And then we come to the boy, the little lad, the lad, I'll tell you what, who can weave magic, the man who is going to be the best standoff in the Rugby League, one of the best players the world has ever seen, Tommy Martin!
Tommy Martin, just 18. That's a big build-up from Tony Barrow, which everybody's sure he will fulfil in the not-too-distant future.
This fella had to come on early doors. He didn't expect it. I had to give him a heart massage before he came on, but he done a great job. He made the first break for our first try, Beefy Newton! Then we come to the three lads who have done us fantastic. They were unlucky today. The first one got injured last week. Was it last week or the week before? I can't think now. I've had too much Boddingtons.
Quick advert in there.
But he's been a sturdy player in our team all season. Desfoy! We then come to a man from my hometown of St Helens. I brought him here because I believe he is a great player. He's been unlucky because he got injured 3 or 4 weeks ago and he's not been able to get his place back. But believe me, this fella will come back because he is one of the top players in this club. Sean Allen!
Sean Allen, not in today. Had a glowing tribute from Tony Barrow.
This fella for the last. This is the fella that I admire more, or a lot more than I've ever admired a bloke in my life. To come back from the serious injuries that this fella's done. I mean, he had a very, very bad broken back. He got disc problems and they took him out. He's got a cut up the back, right down his back, that you've never seen anything like before. I didn't think he'd ever play again, but he proved me wrong. And I tell you what, he didn't even come back and play as full back where he went out as. He came back as a second row loose forward who can play anywhere. I have so much admiration for this guy. He goes to Australia tomorrow to learn his trade even a little bit more. But I want to introduce you to one of the greatest young lads that I've ever had the pleasure to meet, Keith Atkinson.
Keith Atkinson, Breezel educated, Oldham lad. Big build-up, big round of applause from the Oldham crowd.
Introduce my staff because I'll tell you, these fellas, I'm only the front man. I'm only the front man. Listen, this lot here, they don't like him because they make him work. At first, I've got the man who's been with me for, how long is it now? It must be 10, 12 years, I don't know. He's been with me for so long, I don't know. But I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, he's the best assistant in the country. Derek Whitehead. And to bring little fellas on like Tommy Martin to play the way he did today, we need a good A-team coach, and we've got the best because we've got Ian Taylor. And then we have the young man of our squad, and he is young, he's only 60 odd, but I'll tell you what, he's our sprint trainer and he makes these fellas run, and he's one of the best. He is the best. He coached me, Billy Kindon. And I can't forget
Tony Barrow, going through everybody.
Who puts them through the paces when it comes to weights, stretching, and they all moan and they all groan and they say, we hate you, you bastard. But they're not really. He's a great fella. He's one of the best. Ozzy Rowe!
Tony Barrow nearly got through everybody on the line now.
But then I've got to thank the greatest set of directors that I've ever worked with, and I've been in this game for 30 years. And I know what it's all about, and I tell you, these are tremendous. And if any team is going to get to the top, you need good directors. We have got the best. We will get to the top. Can I introduce all the directors, John Shadwick and all the men. You never forget anybody on an occasion like this. So I've got to say, the people who make the club tick are the office staff. The office staff and Fred. What Fred said to me,
Fred Howard.
Was he said, when we lost, I'll tell you too, when we lost against, who did we lose? Wallington, yeah. Yeah, hey, and I agree with you. But when he said, I'm going to have to live another year now, you bastard, he said, get up. I'm in charge. No.
Fred Howard, the Doyen of Rugby League in Oldham for so many years.
Round of applause for Fred, Anita Lees and their office staff.
Fred Howard trying to get the mic and failing.
Now, I always leave these fellas till the last. Need it. Spray that silly stuff on the legs. You know, I want to introduce to the man who's been here a hell of a lot longer than me. He's an Oldham lad and I think he's been here forever. I don't know. John Watkins. Where is he? He's had mumps. He's been very ill. Where is he? He's gone. Oh, he's there. With him, we have Alan Burnell, but I don't think he's on stage, and Nick, who's also not on stage. The two people who are these fellas' right hand. Without these two people, no one in this club could exist, and they're the kitmen. The people who never, ever get mentioned. They never, ever see them. I'll tell you what, we have got the two best that I've ever had. Alec Gibbons and Joe.
Joe, centre stage. Alex seems to have disappeared.
Alec is that side on the coach, he's terrible. And the final little lad who I've got to introduce, and I tell you, he's been a little cracker all season with us, and that's my little mate, my little mascot, Ashley. Come here, mate. Come here. There he is. That's it. Well, listen, I'd like to thank you all for your support. It's been fantastic. I've been here 18 months now and I have never met a nicer gang of people in my life. I hope you stay that way. I really do, because when it gets rough, we need you. I don't need any... Oh, I forgot about him. I forgot about the main man. I forgot about our commercial manager who looks after me all my life. Rael! I tell you what, I'm at it now. I'm being bothered. I always forget somebody. But I would like to thank you all, because without you, this club is nothing. What I say to you is, we want you to support us in this First Division next year. I want to see 10, 12,000 people come into Watersheddings, because if you come up in numbers, I can get money off these directors, I can buy players, we will go better, and we will be better than Wigan, without a shadow of a doubt. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony Barrow.
Fred Howard still trying to get his oar in.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I've been around quite a long while, and you heard Tony say that I've got to live another year, but I've never known what it was like to rise from the dead at half time today.
beat that, brilliant.
2 words from Fred Howard about this afternoon's game.
I'll tell you why this team rose from the dead, because as well as having ability, they've got character. And the character's there because it's a smashing club. You're part of it, as Tony said, and as he's just illustrated, it's a great family and everybody's played their part. Your team, Oldham Rugby League Football Club, come on! Well done, lads.
Oldham receiving the applause of a mass crowd and returning the same before they disappear inside for the civic reception of Oldham's Mayor. Tremendous return to Oldham.
The lads have just spotted the real club mascot over there, but we'll say no more. I tell you what's going to happen now, folks. We're going to hold the cup high, you're going to give them one more big cheer, and then you make your way up to Watersheddings where everybody will turn up in due course. They're going to go into the warm now, and then there's going to be the formal gathering inside the big room over here on our right, and there will be more words spoken, but the lads, I can assure you, can't wait to get up there to Watersheddings, where they effectively live and where you live. We'll see you again in due course. Good night, God bless.
We'll be back at 8 o'clock. Well, everybody up there at 8 o'clock. Come on, let's have a night. Let's have a big night. Because I'll tell you what, we're all going to be drunk.
The theme music rings out. The music which rings through the team coach. Either this version or their own with Morgan James. This adds the buildings of the party that's going to run and run. And blow tomorrow. 4 rounds, water pistol refilled. Half time today. Whoever thought this will be happening. 29-8 down, 1 minute after half time. And back to win by 30 to 29. And the party on. Michael Ford. The crowd celebrate. And there might just be a pint or two drunk in celebration. I think Tony Barra's quite happy that Michael Ford's captain. If it was Paul round, it might be interesting. On my rating, that's Leo Casey's niece on his shoulders. And even the police are wearing red and white scarves in front of us. The last rendering, at least at this time.
Simply the best. And if Phyllis You can make your way as you want into the foyer, into the wall. The lads are going to sit shoulder cup.
Tony Barra, some of the players taking the cup into the crowd.
If you make your way into the foyer, fellas. The lads are
And they're trying to get
water sheddings, folks.
the rest of the players in for the civic reception, which will be followed by a triumphant return to the Water Sheddings Club. Yeah.